Alrighty, I'll let this kind of be up for a second, kind of get things rocking and rolling. Let the live stream come through. Alrighty, so for the nobody that's watching right now, or nobody, probably I can't look at the viewers because this whole thing's being weird because I'm trying to figure out OBS. Right now, I'd be doing a lot of in-person stuff. I'll still be doing the higher production stuff, but stuff like this, where there's a lot going on at a very short time, it just makes a lot more sense for me to kind of live stream this and kind of just go line by line. I might go back and post, rip some of this live stream off, and then kind of put clips into it. But there's just so many sightings. This is kind of probably the most efficient way to get news up relatively quick. So there has been a lot of moves today thus far, which is to be expected. So Jonathan Drouin, he is going to be going back to the Avalanche, inking a one-year deal. I think that's smart for Drouin. He had a successful year in the Avalanche. His buddy McKinnon brought him in. That's very intelligent in my opinion. You go back, kind of keep building your pedigree, showing that you are indeed a solid NHL level player. And, I mean, he was successful there, so it does make sense. Hopefully Jonathan Drouin's able to continue his success with the Avalanche, which I think he'll be able to do, and maybe he gets his role expanded even further. So, also want to say a quick thank you for everyone that's kind of popping by. Popping in, popping by, all that stuff. Let me just kind of try to pull up the chat here. But yeah, there's a lot of movement going on. Former Bruin, Dan Heinen, and this one I kind of was a little bit surprised, is joining the Vancouver Canucks on a 2-year deal worth $4.5 million. That's insane. Oh, now I can look at the chat. Hey, what's going on, Mitchell? What's up, Brady and BTS? What's going on, boys? Thoughts on Zadorov? I will get on that shortly because I'm going to be running down these trains. Not the best verbiage to use there, but Dan Heinen, a little bit surprised that the Bruins didn't try to retain him. I thought he played magnificent in his role. He overperformed. And at $4.5 million, was that $2.25 per year? I think he would have been worth retaining. So, gonna be interesting to see how the Bruins fill that void, whether it's internally or externally. Matt Murray will be back with the Toronto Maple Leaf fans. Yes, Leaf fans, no worries. The legend Matt Murray will be back in a Maple Leaf sweater. 1-year deal, $875, so essentially kind of a min-contract. If Matt Murray's healthy, big fucking if there. If Matt Murray is healthy, he's a solid goaltender you can kind of go to. I understand you can kind of bring him on the cheap, and if you do, waive him, I don't think anyone's going to be picking up that headache due to that. BTS says, I am not sad about Pesci, though. He can go kick rocks. Damn. Design says, so far, Heinen is the only thing that bothers me. Yeah, Heinen, I think, should have been a nice addition. They should have just reacquired him at the Bruins. I didn't really like that. But Vancouver Canucks got themselves a solid player. Is he a world beater? Absolutely not. But at $2.25 million, I'm just kind of surprised he didn't come back. The Bruins didn't try to retain him unless they have something bigger in the works, which we'll go into that. Cam Talbot, he'll be going on a 2-year deal worth $5 million, so $2.5 per year, to the Detroit Red Wings. And, you have Alex Lyon there. You've had goaltenders over there in Detroit. I actually had to double check on the Lyon contract. Talbot, he can be steady. He's older. He's not prime Talbot when Talbot was kind of really kicking butt those few years. But I think that's a solid signing for Detroit. What won't be on here is the Patrick Kane. I was going to do an individual video on that. But the Patrick Kane signing, I like them retaining him and bringing him back into the fold on a 1-year deal. Kind of surprised that he did go back to Detroit because I don't really think they're a cup contender. But I like the bringing him back. That keeps their offense going. And then as for Cam Talbot, he's a steady goaltender. He's at the very least going to be a very steady backup for the Red Wings. Jake DeBrusk, I just have a video that went live on this. So if you want to check that out, definitely appreciate it if you did. But Jake DeBrusk is with the Vancouver Canucks on a 7-year, $38.5 million years, which is about $5.5 per year, which is what I thought his market value would be around $5 to $5.5 million. So he sees a little bit of a bump in pay. Again, a little bit surprised the Bruins didn't retain him at $5.5 million, considering the lack of internal solutions there, but it is what it is. DEG says, if you can, please hit that like button and help expand the platform. Yes, that would be really appreciated, guys. Design said, dude, it was really worth 2.25 Heinen. Yeah, he was easily. Heinen was easily worth that, and I'm surprised. I have some criticisms for the Bruins overall. But yep, Jake DeBrusk's gone. DeBrusk's one of these players that's been frustrating because it's like you can get more from DeBrusk. You feel like he can be a 30-goal guy, but it's just if you look throughout the whole career, he's around a 40-point guy. And with the cap going up, paying a guy $5.5 million, that is what it is. I think the Canucks are more buying in on his value, on his potential, I should say, because in DeBrusk is healthy in the season prior to this last one. You know, he was at a higher point per game clip. If you can get the best version of DeBrusk, the one who's bought in, the one that's hustling, the one that's driving to the net, I do think there's more there. I think you could see a 60-point guy. But just for whatever reason, multitude of reasons, here in Boston, it was never able to really materialize. The Columbus Blue Jackets signed Sean Monahan to a 5-year deal worth $27.5 million. I just want to make sure my math is correct in my head. Yeah, 5.5. So, you know, considering the lack of depth in the center market right now in free agency, I'm not too surprised. Surprised it's Columbus, but I think they're trying to kind of keep building, add more pieces without Fantilli in the draft. They just added another piece as well. I'm a little bit surprised that Monahan went there. If there was other teams, even for a little bit less money, I'm surprised Monahan didn't want to go to probably a little bit more of a contender right now. But good signing for him. He's a guy, he played, was it him? Yeah. He's kind of got some injury issues. So that's something you got to worry about if you're a Jackets fan. Will he be able to be on that 5-year deal for the full 5 years? Will he be able to play full of 82, even just like a full 70, 60 games in a season? I'm hoping it does work out for him. Absolutely. So don't take that like I don't want it to work out for him. But there's genuine injury concerns you can have with a guy like Monahan, which I can understand maybe why some teams kind of steered away. Design says, for that price, I'll miss him, but see ya, Jake. And I can understand that for Bruins fans. Like, enough is enough. We've tried. A 40, 50-point guy, $5.5 million, a little bit rich. I think the Vancouver Canucks are mainly buying in on his potential, which I can definitely understand from their standpoints. Capitals retained him. 2-year deal, $3.7 million. Capitals have made some moves in this offseason, actually, so that's not too bad of a deal. After winning a Stanley Cup, Panthers were Kevin Stenlund is heading to the hockey club. Oh my God, I hate that. I wish they just actually had a damn name. They are heading to Utah via 2-year, $4 million deal. Stenlund in a fourth line role, $2 million per year. Not bad. I mean, Stenlund's big size. He's not a world beater, but he's a very effective fourth line guy. And he was a key member of the Panthers trying to, helping them win a Stanley Cup. It's those third and fourth line guys, if you can get them at the right price, are really nice additions. I like Stenlund as a player, and I think that this is a nice sign by Utah. Utah's actually had, I think, in my opinion, a really solid free agency and trades, like offseason thus far. They're looking to kind of build a better team, and I'm all for it. All for it. So I think that's a smart deal. Good fourth liner. Utah keeps building. I'm actually kind of excited for TJ Ginla. I'm hoping it'll be kind of cool to see him with the big club this year. I don't know if that happens, but it'd be pretty awesome. So, and Edited said the D-core is huge. Yes, it is absolutely huge. Huge. Defenseman William Carrier is signing with the Hurricanes, agreeing terms on a 6-year, $12 million contract. So, I bash basic math. $2 million per year. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. long term, that's a very long term deal, but a very low cap hit. So, not too bad at all. Canucks, Sherwood headed to Vancouver, coming to terms on a 2-year, $3 million deal. More depth guys here, which, you don't want to break the bank on these type of guys, but solid. The Hurricanes lost a defenseman to free agency, but they're keeping pretty important one. Jacob Slavin. 8-year, $51.6 million deal. Wow, 50. Like, did he do the 69 thing on purpose? Can we just these are the real questions we need to ask. 6.46. That's not bad for Slavin. Now, the back end of the deal might age a little bit not so great because he gets older, but I don't mind that deal at all. I don't mind that deal actually at all. I think that's Slavin, I feel like, is a little bit underrated. He's a great defenseman. I think any team would love to have him. And absolutely. So I think that's a solid performance. And by the way, appreciate you, DG. I just saw your text message. Appreciate you kind of sharing the stream. I'm just kind of starting and going because I thought this would be the easiest way to cover all of these signings instead of releasing 100 videos in one day. But the back end of that deal might age poorly. Maybe not as poorly because the cap keeps going up as time goes on. It's not as bad, but you're going to have prime Slavin and it'll be pretty steady. I love him as a defenseman personally. I think he's a fantastic D-man. After re-signing Joseph Wall, which was a big thing for the Leafs, they also added Anthony Stolarz. So this acts, because I'm going through all this. I just woke up like an hour ago, so I'm like going all through this all live with you guys. Anthony Stolarz for the Florida Panthers was terrific. He put up great numbers last year. Do not look at the one game in the playoffs as like any indication of his talent. I think he's an extremely good backup goaltender. Can he be a 1? I wouldn't say that. Maybe in the right situation. But I think a tandem of Wall and Stolarz will be extremely good. Having Matt Murray as the third goalie in the organization will most likely play with the Marlies. Yeah, I like that. I like that signing quite a bit. And it was kind of writing was on the wall with Samsonov, but yeah, I don't mind this at all. I think that's actually a very good signing by the Maple Leafs. You bring in Stolarz, who had a great year. Now, the thing is, will he have as great of a year behind a Maple Leafs team? If I was to say this current, like the past season, I would say it would be a little bit of a downturn in statistics, but like with some of the additions the Leafs have made, he could be in a prime situation to have another good year back-to-back. Minnesota Wild have inked forward, trying into a 4-year, $14 million deal. Solid player. Actually, let me see if I can kind of pull up his... let me pull up his stats. No, not that. Not wrong button, damn it. Wrong button, damn it. What did he do last year? I hate ESPN for this stuff. I hate ESPN stats and how they do it. So, 12 goals, 5 assists, 7... Guy low, he's never going to beat you. I mean, probably high career total, 24. Yeah, that's where I remember him from, the Nashville Predators. He was there his main career, then turned... Okay. But that's not too bad of a deal there. Get a bottom 6 type guy. The Bruins sign Nikita Zadorov in a 6-year, $30 million deal. Oof. Oh, man, I might get some flack for this one. I'm not a big Zadorov fan. He adds size. He does add size. And I'm hoping he does well here in Boston. He'll add size. He'll add size when he plays solid. I mean, he's a good player in his own right. But I don't know. 6 years, $30 million for Zadorov. I mean, that's 5 per year. Is it the worst contract? No. A little bit rich. I think the Bruins are trying to bring physicality. I mean, they did lose Forbort. Forbort actually signed with the Canucks, which will probably show this later in this whole tracker. I don't know. I'm very mixed on this signing because I liked... When he was younger, I thought he could hit more, like when he was with the Flames. there's definitely some pluses to his game, and maybe adding a bigger presence back there is much needed. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel on this one. I don't know how to feel on this one if I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I think Zadorov can be kind of hit or miss. Grizz signed with the Pens. I'm in shambles. What happened to Stamkos? Fact that they just didn't embrace the Utah Yeti people have lacked on the floors. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just go with the Yetis. Just go with the Yetis. Something. And Wayfair, good to see you, buddy. We're going to be talking about Stamkos shortly. I'm just going down the line here. But, I mean, yeah, Zadorov for me as a Bruins fan, I mean, I'm kind of on the deal. I think there was like letting go Heinen, then bringing in Zadorov at $5 per year. Maybe I'm being a little bit unfair to him, but I don't know. Just, you're over, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. We'll see how that one works out. Oilers have boosted the forward depth of Victor Arvidsson, 2-year, $8 million. Yeah, he's a solid player that you can plug up and down the lineup. I think that's a good little addition there by the Oilers. They just went to a Stanley Cup final. See if you can kind of lengthen the lineup a little bit more, because I think that's what held the Oilers back a lot was their depth scoring. But what an absolutely terrific year they had. Really, I do have to commend them. It was absolutely a terrific turnaround. Could have won a Stanley Cup. If I'm the Oilers, I just keep building, man. You have a lot of special pieces there with McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Ekholm. If Stuart Skinner can keep improving, I mean, Oilers could win a Stanley Cup here in the next 5 years or so. Sabres add a veteran scoring winner, Jason Zucker, to a 1-year, $5 million deal. If I recall, Zucker didn't have a mate. I don't want to speak out of turn here. What did he do this season? We'll go year by year. So Zucker overall, let's show the whole season. Yeah, 32 points, 14 goals, 18 assists, 30. I mean, $5 million per year. You're kind of little rich for Zucker, but in the right situation, like he's been there with the Penguins before, not a bad defenseman. I mean, defenseman, not a bad forward, but I can't even really think. John Castro says, nah, Big Z, y'all got a gem. I'm hoping you're right, John. Maybe I'm just... And this is where I kind of have to... Because, like, I watch as much hockey as I can. But I've just... Every time I've tuned into a Canucks game, I saw Zadorov play, have some good moments and have an occasional bad one. So maybe some of it is just... Maybe I just catch him on some bad games. I mean, I think statistically he's not been bad at all. He's big presence, so maybe I'm being a bit unfair. It's hard because like I wish I could watch every single game, but it's just like physically impossible. So I'll be fair to Zadorov. I'll give him a shake like I do with all the free agents. Another veteran defenseman has joined the Devils. Brendan Dillon has agreed to a 3-year, $12 million contract. So not horrific, $4 million per year. Adding more depth defensively to New Jersey. And if New Jersey can stay healthy this season, maybe they have a far better year than they did years prior. The Flames have brought back one of their own. Oh, my God. Zargangovic. I think I said that correct. 5 years, $28.75 million. And Anthony Mantha on a 1-year, $3.5 million, kind of like a prove-it deal. Mantha's a big physical presence. Zargangovic can be a solid player. That is kind of funny, him going back to the Calgary Flames. I should probably pick up Cap Friendly, and once after all this going up and down the lineup. So Flames, bringing in some couple pieces here. Former Stanley Cup David Perron will continue his career with the Senators, agreeing to a 2-year, $4 million contract, $2 million per year. Perron, at this point in his career, he's not going to be a world beater, but solid depth piece here, and Ottawa's trying to change the culture. Because with the Ottawa Senators, I don't think... Maybe I'm crazy. But they have the talent there up in Ottawa. They should be far better than they are. Like, on paper, they should be far better on the ice, but just for whatever reason, really not... Yeah, just maybe it's locker, maybe it's culture, I don't know. Utah signed another defenseman, Ian Cole. $3.1 million on a 1-year deal. I think that's a solid move. Like I said, Utah's trying to improve, and I think they're trying to hit the ground running because they're not an expansion franchise, right? They're a relocation from Phoenix, and I should definitely talk about the Morello situation when I get an opportunity. Him bumbling and then just kind of giving up on the Coyotes in relatively short order, by the way, mind you. But with Utah, they've made some nice additions. I think they want to be successful their first year there. They want to kind of cultivate a fan base. So I actually respect it quite a bit. The Bruins add a major boost to center position. Lindholm to a 7-year, $54.25 million deal. Let me just check the math, because when you start doing that stuff, I'm a little bit stupid. Yeah, $7.75 million. Ooh, $7.75 million for Lindholm per year. Oof. I don't know how to feel about that one. I don't. Oof. 7. Oof. Right? Because that's, hold on. Double check my math here. 50 divided by 7. That's $7.75 million. Okay, I'm not tripping. Wow. So, last year, 15 goals, 29 assists for 44 points. What is that? 75 games. Nope. Yeah, 75 games played. 64 points, 82 points, 47, 78. Like, so Lindholm is a guy that I think he's a solid center. I don't know if he's a number one center. Now, if he can hit with some of these years, like 82 points, 64, even if he can just be a solid 60-point contributor. Big thing is, like with him, his face-off percentage, I don't have it in front of me right here. But, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of, he's 29 years old. 7 years deal, so he'll be 36. A cap goes up, the deal goes. People are probably thinking I'm just obnoxious. Like, oh my God, you're down on all these Bruin signings. I think Lindholm doesn't. I think he's an improvement over the center core we have. I think Zacha and Coyle. I think Zacha probably offensively is better off on the wing. I think Coyle, he showed he can be a second line center. I think Lindholm should be an upgrade over that. And with Matthew Patra, I don't know, like Lindholm, I like the addition. They needed to bring in a center. It was him, Monahan, or Stamkos, which at this point in his career, we'll talk about him shortly signing with Nashville. But with Lindholm, I understand it. $7.75 million, a little bit, maybe, in my opinion, a little bit rich for him, but I get it. It's a lack of center depth in this current free agency. And I'm probably driving Bruins fans crazy. I'm not trying to be negative. Please don't take it that way. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not huge on that signing personally. I think 7 years, a lot of term. And actually, John says it. Oh, yeah, John actually agrees. It kind of good one day, then shit the other. Yeah, I agree with you, John. It's like good one day, bad the other. So, the Nashville Predators have entered the chat. They have signed Steven Stamkos for a 4-year, $32 million deal worth $8 per year. I mean, hey, they had the money. They wanted to spend it. And then Marchessault, 5 years, $25 million, $5 million, and then Brady Shea, 7 years, $49 million. Nashville's like they're trying to win now. Yeah, I think that's I think that's a good thing for Nashville. I don't know. So this is the thing with Nashville. I'll say this. I want to double check my math. So 7 per year. Okay. Brady Shea, good defenseman. Marchessault, good player. He had a great year last year, if I recall correctly. What, didn't he score 40 last year? Yeah, he scored 42 goals. 42 goals, 27 assists, 69 points in Vegas. Had a very good year. 40-goal scorer. Is he that throughout his career? No, but he's been around 30, mid, low 20s. Yeah, I mean, Marchessault, that's a good addition. So, Stamkos, and this is the biggest detractor. I've seen a lot of people, oh, well, he scored a lot of his points on the power play. But if you look throughout his career, his even strength points have been really around the 40, 50, even 60 marker. Now, more around the 40, 50 marker. He's had 2 years of outliers, where was it 2011 and 12, and then 21, 22, or 20 and 21, where he had 70-plus points on even strength. Stamkos has always been kind of a power play killer. Still an effective player. Now, paying him $8 million per year, that's a lot of money, but he had a good year last year, another good campaign, and the Predators are looking to bring in offense. I actually think it's a very smart addition by Nashville. They're trying to be better. They're trying to add, and I do like some of this addition if they want to kind of not just be the team that barely gets in or just misses. They want to be a contender. They want to be a solid team. The Sharks signed scoring winger Tyler Toffoli. He's a 20-plus goal. Like, you know, death, 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Toffoli scoring 20 goals. So, 4-year, $24 million deal. Not too bad. I think Toffoli is a very solid winger, and the Sharks are trying not to be they want to get to their cap floor, but they also don't want to be a complete embarrassment. You have Celebrini. You have some additions that they have brought in. I like that signing for the Sharks. Hopefully they're kind of more a respectable team on the ice. And that's not to slander anybody that played last season. They tried their best, but there just wasn't enough NHL level talent on that roster. And let's see. And I agree. Too much money. Too much money for Lindholm. I definitely agree. Fresh off winning a Stanley Cup, OEL has signed a 4-year, $14 million contract with the Leafs. Don't mind that at all for OEL. I think OEL kind of, let's be honest, we were actually having real honest-to-God conversations about OEL's future in the NHL after kind of leaving Vancouver in the state he did. But he looked really solid with the Panthers. He was healthy. He kind of got right. Now he's making $3.5 million per year. Is OEL like the guy that he was in his prime with the Arizona Coyotes? No, but he can still run a power play, can still be an effective defenseman, and he has proven that he'll accept a bottom six role if needed. I like a lot of the moves the Leafs have made on their decor. They should be far more stout. Good signing there by the Leafs. I have no complaints. Effective player in his own right. So OEL, I'm hoping the best for him. I'm hoping he keeps doing a bang-up job. And Eric Comrie going back to the Jets, 1-year deal, $825,000 contract. He had a rough year last year, so kind of a low addition. And then, the Blackhawks. Woo! Okay, let's see. Connor Bedard gets some veteran help. Tyler Bertuzzi for $22 million. Not bad. So was that 5? Yeah. So Teravainen from the Canes, 3 years, 16.25. Patrick Maroon, 1 year, 1.3, and then Craig Smith, $1 million. So Maroon and Smith, they can be effective enough in a fourth line role. Maroon, I don't think might get some hate from him because I watched him a lot this year late. Doesn't really have the wheels or anything anymore. He's very slug, but he's always been kind of a bigger body guy. I think Maroon's more just a name at this point. But Tyler Bertuzzi and Teravainen, those are nice additions by the Blackhawks. They're trying to improve. They're trying to keep getting better. And then with them drafting that young defenseman Leshkinov, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation on that. He looked like an amazing prospect. The Blackhawks should be a playoff-bound team within the next handful of years if everything hits. I do like these additions. I think Bertuzzi's got a nice little bit of grip. Teravainen is a very good player in his own right. Carolina has lost some good pieces here. And Capitals, after trading for Jacob Chikrin, have continued to add to their blue line, signing Matt Roy to a 7-year, $38.5 million. I think they're just trying not to be irrelevant. And now I'm going to have to look at the Chikrin trade because, like I said, I just woke up an hour and some change ago. The Kraken landed one of the top free agents on the market, inking 7-year, $50 million deal with Brandon Montour. My one worry with the Montour thing is he can be effective point producer on the point, and I think he's solid enough defensively. I just don't expect that 1 year where he just put up monster numbers. Because I'll go into it in a second. Just want to double check the money here. Yeah, 7.1. Because when I look into the numbers, what did he do last year? 8 goals, 25 assists for 33 points, plus minus. Stats. I hate ESPN for stats. I apologize. But like where he put the season prior, where he put up 73 points, 16 goals, 57 assists, 73 points. If you look throughout the rest of his career, that was an outlier. Like that year he had prior to last season, that was an outlier. That was not what he is. He's not that guy. But you can expect, 30s points producer. He can maybe give a little bit more than that. But if Kraken fans understand that going into it, that I don't think he's going to be that 60, 70 point guy from the point. He's an effective defenseman. Lafferty inking a 2-year, $4 million contract with the Sabres. Good depth guy. Good depth guy there. A good, nice little addition there for the Sabres. I like that. Martinook will not be leaving Carolina, taking a 3-year, $9.15 million deal. So 3.05 per year. They retain him. He's kind of been there for a while. He's been a fixture of the Carolina Hurricanes organization. Chicago will be a threat for the Western Conference in 2025. I hope that's the case. I mean, I really want them to do well. I'd love to see the Blackhawks actually do extremely well. I really would. Devils have added a critical player to the blue line, inking forward Brett Pesce. Man, Carolina just lost a lot of players. 6-year, $33 million contract. And Devils, they're looking to stay in healthy, adding pieces. I like this. I like this move quite a bit. Very good defenseman. Very, very good defenseman. Kapanen resigned with the Blues, 1-year, $1 million deal. Low risk, maybe high reward, but cheap deal. Restricted free agent, Connor McMichael has extended his business relationship with the Capitals. They just continued his career. 2-year, $4.2 million contract. Eric Johnson, 1-year, $1 million deal for the Flyers. Maple Leafs have traded Chris Tanev, and then they've extended him to a 6-year, $27 million contract. I think I already talked about that, but I like Chris Tanev quite a bit. He adds a little bit of jam, and when healthy, he's very, very effective. Joseph Wall's deal, 3 years, $10.98 million. I mean, not too bad. I mean, Wall, when he's shown, he can be a very steady number one. Panthers have agreed to term with Sam Reinhart, 8 years, $69 million per year. So, this is the thing. I made a video. I'm going to go on a rant here. Folks. So excuse this. I made a video saying, is Sam Reinhart worth $10 million? And I said no. I said, no way is he worth $10 million. It's not because I don't like Sam Reinhart. I love him as a player. Would have loved to see him with a smoke bee. Just saying. But he wasn't a $10 million player. And I think, and this is what I said in the video, I think the best situation was for him was going back to Florida. You're playing with Barkov. You're playing with phenomenal talent around you that brings out the best in your game. He had an insane year, but if you look throughout his career, he's like a mid-20s. Maybe he can be a consistent 30-goal guy in the right situation. He's not a 50-plus goal guy. Now, I'm hoping for the Panthers' sake he is. I'm hoping he consistently becomes that. And I think he's always had good potential. Sam Reinhart isn't also just offensive. He's very good on a two-way game as well. So I'll acknowledge he's got other attributes that I think he's a very good player. But I'm not crazy to say that he's not a $10 million player with even the Panthers don't agree. $8.625 million per year. Happy for Reinhart. He's a great player. Great thing is, too, no state income tax. No state income tax for the Panthers. So he'll be retaining a little bit more of that money. I think this is the perfect fit. I think if Sam Reinhart is going to be a consistent 35, maybe 40-plus goal scorer throughout the rest of his career, the Panthers is the situation for it to happen. I think some Panther fans agreed, some disagreed when I said he's not worth a $10 million play. Oh, well, he brings other aspects. I'm like, yes, but there's great defensive forwards in the league that don't make anywhere near that money. And that can give you, so Reinhardt, 8.625, I think that's the perfect. I thought around 8 would be the perfect, sweet spot, because then it allows the Panthers to also retain and get other assets as well. But $8.625 million, as the cap goes up, hopefully, for the love of God, please keep going up. As the cap goes up over time, I like this signing for the Panthers. I think it's you're not paying him a ridiculous price where he'll never live up to, and you're locking him in for the long term throughout the prime of his career. It makes a lot of sense. It does. And if the cap keeps going up, it should make the deal look better and better. Sorry, just a rant, because I saw a lot of detractors in that one video I made. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a damn good player. I think he's a great player. I'm just saying $10 million, at least in my opinion, it's like elite. And maybe that's changing, and maybe I got to adjust my mindset as the cap goes up. That will have to happen. But when I look at the $10 million players, I'm looking at somebody that's just going to carry a line. Somebody that's going to be, outside of the complimentary pieces, he's just going to drive. Like a Pastrnak. As much as flack I give Pastrnak, he had an extremely good season with not amazing parts around him. Rant done. So Jake Getzel, 7-year, $63 million. Check the math. Yep, 9. So, I think this was kind of a foregone conclusion when they traded a third-round draft pick next year to get him. There was definitely conversations going on. I think it's a good deal for the Lightning. And I personally, while they're going to they lose Stamkos, who's getting a little bit older, long in the tooth. You bring in Jake Getzel, who's 30 years old. So towards the back end of this deal, maybe it doesn't age as well, but Jake Getzel, while you have him throughout his prime, even until 35, 36 year, should be a very effective player. And the Lightning are trying to kind of not just become a team that's solid in the Atlantic. They want to get back to contending status. I like the addition of Jake Getzel. You lose Stamkos, but Stamkos is getting a little bit long in the tooth himself, so I can understand it. Emily Kaplan tweet. Let's just read. I said on private, Jake Trouba stuff is real. Red Wings trade. Red Wings trade? What? Hold on. Wait a minute. I said draft about Jacob Trouba stuff is real. Believe it. Oh, if Jake Trouba gets traded to the Detroit Red Wings, I feel bad for Jake Trouba. Right? Can I just say that? I feel bad for him. Is he worth the contract? No. Physical presence. I think there's some good pieces. I don't know. Captain, man. Captain just getting dealt straight heartless out in these streets. It's telling him to get bent. Looking at the chat. Reasonable deal for Sam. Too much money for Getzel. Dr. Even is Reinhardt greater than Getzel, and Reinhardt is cheaper. I think the problem is with some of these deals is $9 million a little bit rich. I wouldn't even really disagree. It's kind of some of the complaints I've had about some of the signings I've seen, I should say. I will say you're going to have to overpay in a way, but I mean, is it a bit much? Yeah, could it age poorly? Absolutely, especially as the year gets on. But I mean, Jake Getzel is a very solid player. Him, Kucherov together, or whatever line combinations they come up with. I think the Lightning are trying to extend their window, if that makes sense. They don't want to just become irrelevant, and I think that's why they moved on from a franchise the face of the franchise in Stamkos and brought in a little bit younger of a player in Getzel. And free agency going throughout the rest of it. And so, yeah, word is New York Rangers is negotiating Detroit, retaining 31.25%. That is a very exact percentage. That is a very exact percentage. I feel bad for Trouba, but I understand it would be probably time to move on. It would probably be time to move on for him. Veteran forward Patrick Kane is back with the Detroit Red Wings, signing a one-year deal, $4 million. I like that for Kane in the sense that he was successful last year. I'm a bit surprised he went back with Detroit because I don't think they're going to be a contender. But, I mean, he's won his Stanley Cups. Maybe he just wants to be in a place where he likes it. Maybe he really likes the city. He likes the people around him. And if it's true about Trouba possibly being a factor for the Red Wings, and that's why, that would be interesting. But, excuse me. But, yeah, I mean, Kane kind of showed after the hip surgery he can still be a very productive player. A resurfacing surgery, he should be a very productive player. Lundstrom has signed with the Ducks, a one-year, $1.5 million deal. You know, minor deal. Utah Hockey Club works on re-signing Sean Durzi, 4-year, $24 million contract. And in need of a boost of the blue line this summer, the Maple Leafs will sign a one-year, one of their own, re-signing RFA Lindgren to a 2-year, $6 million contract. $3 million for Liljegren. I mean, I think Liljegren's at times last season was one of their best defensemen. So that's not too bad of a deal. And then forward Max Domi will not be exploring the market. Returns, releasing a 4-year, $15 million deal. Affordable Priest, I kind of talked about him yesterday already in a video. I think that's solid. Now let me refresh this and see how many more have been added since I've... yes, there has been more. There has been more. Okay. So, the Dallas Stars, Sam Steele returning on a 1-year, $1.25 million contract. Steele was effective enough. I think that's a good bring back. Garden Hathaway will stick with the Flyers in a 2-year, $4.8 million deal. Hathaway's the type of guy that just perfect flyer in that respect. I think he can play gritty. He can play solid in the bottom six. Very good player. Effective for what the Flyers are trying to bring in there. I like Hathaway. Another Stanley Cup champion leaving the Panthers. Lomberg. So they lose Lomberg and that's crazy. Lomberg is signing a 2-year, $4 million with the Flames. I like Lomberg a lot. I loved him in a fourth-line role. Hustle, gutsy little player. Effective pretty much in any role you ask him to do. That's actually kind of that's a big loss there for the Panthers. Is he a Kachuk? Is he top-tier type player? No, but he's an effective fourth-line guy. Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't try to retain him, but I know Florida's kind of tight against the cap. Former Golden Knight forward Chandler Stevenson is heading up to Seattle, a 7-year, $43.75 million contract. Holy crap. Wait a minute. Really? You know what's interesting about Chandler Stevenson is when you kind of look at the underlying analytics, 6.25 per year. I don't know if this deal will be great for Seattle in the long term. Because when you looked at the underlying analytics, he had some defensive woes. Stone actually played worse with Stevenson. I'm hoping it works out for him, but it just kind of shows how weak I think the center the center selection, I should say, was in free agency this offseason. I think that definitely kind of plays a factor into it. For sure. It's a move that won't get much attention since signing Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea, but they made an addition to your goaltending core, Scott Wedgwood. Wedgwood. Wow, that's actually fun. They brought in Wedgwood to back, so 2-year, $1.5 million per year. I mean, Wedgwood was effective enough, but in Dallas, what are they doing with Askarov? Are those rumors of Askarov being dealt actually a thing now? I wouldn't think so, because he's a promising prospect. I don't know. Why? All right. Anyway, Stars have found their backup Now that Wedgwood's gone, Casey DeSmith, 1 year, $3 million contract. DeSmith can be a solid backup, very solid backup. I don't think that's a bad move at all. After running the Stanley Cup Final, Warren Fogle, 3 year, $10.5 million deal. Fogle had a really good postseason. He kind of stood out to me a lot during the playoffs. I really do like Fogel's game. And a guy that can go up and down the lineup. Solid middle six guy, third line type guy. Kings get a solid player there, in my opinion. I really do like that addition. Like that addition quite a bit. You think? So Mitchell Weber says they probably trade Soros. Do you actually think they trade him? You actually think they would trade UC Soros? I would be surprised if... I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff already. But I think with Askarov in the system, it's a bit surprising you bring in another goaltender. I mean, I'd rather just... Because maybe you got to pay him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I do not know what to think about that because I think Askarov would be fine in a backup role right now, especially. And he's deemed the future. I mean, do you deal Soros? And what can you get for Soros? Because goaltending can be hit or miss what you get on the return. Sometimes it's not a great return, but Soros is one of these guys that some general manager could be like, oh, this is the guy that gets us over the hump. Yeah. Crazy. Veteran defenseman Matt Grzelcyk will not be patrolling the blue line for the Bruins. Instead, he's signing a 1 year, $2.75 million with the Penguins. The writing was on the wall there. Matt Grzelcyk was not going to be back in a spoke D. There was absolutely no chance in that happening, especially with considering him getting benched and the Bruins. He just fell out of favor with the Bruins. Now, Matt Grzelcyk can be a very effective puck mover. He's a little bit on the smaller side, so defensively he can be taken advantage of times. It kind of reminds me of Krug in that sense, but I would say Krug had a higher upside offensively. But Grzelcyk can be solid. Very, very solid defenseman in his own right. Right situation can prosper, and going with the Penguins with some of the firepower they have there, maybe Grzelcyk kind of, has a very good year statistically. But not really surprised there. He definitely fell out of favor with the Bruins. So that kind of makes sense. After playing straight for the Hurricanes, Stefan Nason is headed to the Devils. 3 year, $8.25 million deal. My Hurricanes just keep losing a ton of pieces. I'm actually going to go through Cap Friendly while it still exists and kind of go through some of the... I don't know if they're pretty quick with it adding. Stars are Matt Duchene inking a 1 year, $3 million extension with the Stars. Well, extension. I liked Matt Duchene. Had a very good year for the Stars. I think it's a smart business move to stick where he was successful. Depth forward, Golden Knights. For the Golden Knights, Michael Amadio signing a 3 year, $7.8 million contract with the Senators. I think the Senators are just trying to bring in some solid pieces, some winners, change the culture. And I already talked about Jonathan Drouin. Talked about him already. I'll refresh this page once again because watch, there's going to be... Oh, wow, there is another one. Matt Dumba. 2 year deal, $7.5 million deal. Matt Dumba can be kind of hit or miss. He's not a guy that I've always... he's a Jekyll Hyde guy for me. It's very weird to see the New York Rangers have made free agents splashes yet. Could they be waiting for the trade market to heat up? I mean, that is a possibility. I'm actually going to go into Cap Friendly. Now, let me test their game. Let me see how quick they update this. They probably have an algorithm where it's just automatic with players moved and just instant once news is announced. So probably instant. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest hit here has definitely been the Canes. The Canes have lost a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces. Still good players, though. Still have some really good players on their roster. But definitely a downgrade this last year. I mean, this offseason. Last year. Jesus, Paul, can't speak. God, I'm going to miss this website. I'm going to miss this website so much. Myself and Dallas Star fans are worried. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried. What's going on here? What is going on here? So I'm kind of interested to see. Yeah, no, Jeff Skinner's the guy I'm interested to see where the hell he goes after the buyout. That'll be interesting to see. All right, where is that tool? All right, thanks. Let's see. So, okay, another. I do think they have an algorithm. This is the one thing I'll miss about. I'll miss actually about this website. Is they just relatively straightforward. Is it sexy to look at? Absolutely not. But very, very effective and good website here. So, kind of looking. I'm actually kind of interested about my own team here. $8.6 million in cap. Bring in Lindholm. Man. Yeah, I'm assuming Zaka would move to the wing. That would just have to make the most sense. But all right. So, I mean, is Zadorov here yet? Yeah, Zadorov is here yet. You know, solid. Decent enough. Mason Lohrei, that's the guy I'm excited about. Georgie, I wish you hit better, bro. But let me see, kind of going through each lineup here. Cap Friendly's got. Oh, today is the last day you can access this website. So this is what happens at Cap Friendly. Let me tell you a little story. This is how my life got all switched around. Yeah, Cap Friendly, it got bought by the Washington Capitals. This is going to be the last day, apparently. DEG says that you can access it. So it got bought by the Capitals, and since it's now Washington Capitals property, the website's going to be taken down completely. It's going to be completely privated. They're going to be using this probably for an internal way. I'm hoping somebody rises from the ashes to make a website very similar to this. I wish I was a programmer. Wish I could, have the talent to do this. But yeah, this is going to be the last day. Capitals ended up buying it, and just like everything, Capitals ruin everything. So, that just Max Jones. Let's see who's quicker. ESPN or Cap Friendly. Max Jones. 26 years old. Wow, they're so fast. Yeah, 2-year deal, $2 million. So, decent little player. I'm actually kind of... Wow, this website is actually kind of insane how quick it is. Last year with the Ducks, 52 games played, 5 goal census for 15 points. He's, fourth line guy. Not a little bad piece here. Has he lived up to his draft status? Absolutely not. But, hey, nice little addition. Yeah, the Capitals decided to say, F everybody that likes to follow this. The problem is, and this is the thing, right? This is the thing. The league doesn't like fans having this information, in my opinion. They just don't. They don't like people having the ability to kind of easily go look up cap, look at all the rules and all that things and the way how to buy out and stuff like this website is so amazing, and it's just the trade machine draft. It's such a nice little website to have, but unfortunately, it's going to be going away the dinosaur. DEG says, I heard the NHL encouraged the sale was because the league doesn't want a site like this available for access to people outside NHL management. That's a PRL for the league. Yep, and that's the biggest thing. Like that's exactly why they didn't. They thought this made the league look bad, which I think is stupid. There's other websites out there on other leagues that do very similar things. I mean, actually, I think Cat Friendly has the basketball one. I wonder if the basketball one's going to be absorbed in this. Probably not. But, Cat Friendly has done a very good job of, allowing fans to have more accessibility to these contracts and understand the very intricate parts of how these deals work and how buyouts work. And I think it's a terrible. I think it's terrible for the league. It's not bad to have your fans more informed instead of having this area of gray area where they have no idea what's going on. I think it's absolutely dumb. I think it's dumb, and I think it's bad for the league, and I think it's a mistake. Now, if that's true, that they were like, oh, we got to push this, we can't have our fans know all this stuff. I'm like, come on. If they really wanted to know, they still find a way, but it makes it just such a nice and accessible format. Yeah, and it has drummed up more interest in the NHL for casual fans to become hardcore fans, and that's been my absolute complete argument with that. It's that it's actually a nice tool to have, so you can just kind of go to depth chart, look at the cap hit, kind of go back to the team itself, right? Understand that you have a certain amount of cap space. Max Jones, now this is so quick with the algorithm, went down $1 million because of the Jones signing. Like, you can now understand. But we're the fun police here. So now I think the Bruins actually pretty much, because they got to sign Swayman. So, interesting. That'll be interesting. Very interesting. DC says, Lindholm is washed. The Bruins are going to lose in the first round. Damn. Tell me how you really feel. Jesus. Tell me how you really feel on this. All right. I don't think Lindholm's washed. I just think at best a second line center. Add another center to the Bruins. Maybe a little bit of an upgrade over Coyle. I don't know. But Islanders have entered the chat. Defenseman Mike Riley is coming back on a 1-year deal. Good for Riley. Good for Riley. I think that's good for him. He had a rough go of it. Kind of salvaged his career. I'm glad. I'm happy for him. Anthony Duclair is headed back to the Metropolitan Division. 4-year deal. Duclair is a player. Good for him getting out of that disaster that was San Jose last year. Ended up moving back to where he belongs on the East Coast, and then signs back to the Islanders. I actually like that deal quite a bit. Depending on the term. If they gave him a ton of, depending on the money. If they gave him a ton of money, then, if it's $10 million per year, that's a little bit rich, but no figures there. Erik Gustafsson signing a two-year, $4 million deal. Again, nice little addition there. Nothing crazy. And Brendan Smith is also headed to Dallas on a 1-year, $1 million deal. He's kind of like a seventh defenseman type for Dallas. But Gustafsson, look at how he did last season with the Rangers. 31 points on the back end, +3. Some Ranger fans did complain about his performance. Didn't think he added enough physicality, if I remember correctly. But, Gustafsson's an effective defenseman. He can he can provide points from the point. So that should be a nice little addition there for the Red Wings. To, $2 million per year. That's can't complain about that. DJ says, damn, New York Islanders got Duclair. I was hoping the Rangers could have signed him. I think Duclair, I actually like Anthony Duclair. He got traded to Tampa Bay. Yes, Tampa Bay last year. Duclair, looking at his stats, just kind of showcase over the years. He can be at 20 guys. He scored 31 goals in 21-22. He's come back from injury, but Duclair can be an effective guy. I think in the right situation, he can be a 20-plus goal scorer. And the Islanders, they need more offense. Just flat out need more offense. That's what they need. So bringing in more forwards with some talent, that's a good thing. DEG says Gustafson was really good for us this year. Made just a handful of costly mistakes, and that's just gonna happen with players overall. They're gonna make some mistakes. That's just kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But I think Gustafson is a solid defenseman. I think that's a good addition, and it allows how would I put this? It just adds more depth to the Red Wings lineup, because I'm going to look at the Red Wings now. If that Jacob Trouba trade goes through, that's going to be interesting to see what the salary retention is. But, you got Sherratt, Moritz Seider, who hoping keeps developing. Evan Petrie, Mata, Gustafson. It's solid. Justin Hall, take it or leave it. But, they brought in Cam Talbot. They brought in, some nice pieces. They brought back Patrick Kane, who had 47 points in 50 games played. The Red Wings are one of these teams I always say, like, oh, this is the year they should kind of take the jump. This is the year that they should be better. Hopefully for their fan base, this is definitely going to be it. And at $2 million per year, you can't complain. That's not that big of a cap hit. And for a guy on the back end that can maybe add 20 to 30 plus points, I think that's
here over First Take, Mr. Hartenstein himself. Isaiah Hartenstein.
No, I don't. No, shut up, Stephen A. I don't like you. No. I almost just threw my computer out the window. God, no. God. Sorry. Stephen A. I know DEG almost clicked off this video once he heard that voice. DC says the Bruins cleared a lot of cap. What are they going to do? What are they doing? A rebuild? No, because when you look at the cap for the Bruins, really, they don't actually have they have 7.8 million available in projected cap space, but you have to also look at this, right? So they have this is actually probably more likely what you're going to see this year. The lineups, I don't think there's going to be much additions. I don't think there's going to be many more additions, right? Lindholm, Marchand, Pot. I don't know if that will be a line, but we'll see. Zaka, Coyle, Geeky, Frederick, Patra. Patra, I think could. I'm hoping he puts on. I liked what I saw from Matthew Patra last year before he got hurt. I think he's got a good, at least a second line center type ceiling. Justin Brazeau, he played well in a bottom six role. But, Lindholm, McAvoy, Zadorov, Carlo, Witherspoon, Peak, but they don't have currently Jeremy Swayman signed. Right? So, I think that's why you saw some players get moved or just completely not be retained. Maybe I'm... there's certain players that I would rather have, but... I think right now as a Bruins fan, you have to resign Swayman, and you have 7.8 available in cap space. So I think that's kind of the situation. I think the rest of this cap is most likely going to be going to a Jeremy Swayman deal. So I don't think the Bruins make any more additions. I think the Bruins are going to be one of these teams that they're going to have to relying on one of these younger players, whether it's Lysell, whether it's Merkulov, whether it's some of these additions. Letourneau. People are like, could he come in next year? No, he committed to Boston College. He'll be playing there for 2 years. I think the Bruins should be they should be a solid team again, but, they're kind of, the Bruins are in a weird spot. They're kind of in a little bit of a transition period, yet they're still competitive. It's different. I think bringing in Lindholm, they just wanted to bring in another proven winger and probably move Zaka to the wing where he's more effective offensively. Let's see. Can't believe the Rangers are doing nothing. The New York Islanders need new ownership. Damn. Tell me how you really feel. Well, looking at the Islanders, DC's favorite team, they have $1 million available in cap. Okay. So you got Anders Lee, Bo Horvat, Matthew Barzal. You got Duclair now, Brock Nelson, Palmieri, Pajot, Enval, Fasching, McLean's, Zekas, Holmstrom, Romanov, Dobson, Pelech, Pulak, Bolduc, Mayfield. You know, it's crazy. I actually do like a lot of the pieces here on the Islanders. I just don't think they have enough offensively, and hopefully Duclair can be a guy that helps add. You know, he adds 20-plus goals. That would help them because if you there wasn't a tremendous amount of depth scoring with the Islanders. I think they have a solid decor. I think Pelech could bounce back, and I think there's more there. I do. I think there's more there. Sorokin had a down year. I'm assuming Sorokin kind of bounces back because Varlamov being number one, I'm not sure that's a good sign, but I think Sorokin outside of 1 year has had a terrific year. I'm expecting him to bounce back. Thanks, that clears up for the Bruins. No problem. The Islanders are old. There's nothing wrong with being old, but no. Yeah, I mean, older. They're not like ancient. They're not like gray-bearded Joe Thornton with the beard old, but their decor is actually kind of young. Romanov, Dobson, 24. Pelech, Pulak, 29. Bolduc, I mean, obviously he's RFA next year, so he's young, 23. But they actually have, they're relatively young on the back end, which is kind of a good sign. And most of them are locked up. Aside, well, Romanov and Dobson, those are going to be interesting RFA decisions next season. But I think if the Islanders, personally, I'd like to see them add another top 6 guy if they could. And then kind of maybe move a guy down a line, like maybe an Anders Lee down to a third line role where Enval can play both sides, so you can, bring in maybe like a 50, 60 point guy, but I don't really know if there's anyone else out there available. Maybe you have to trade for somebody. Maybe you bring in a guy like Jeff Skinner on a kind of a cheap prove-it deal, but the Islanders don't have much cap space, and a lot of that, like they have $1 million unless Skinner wants to take a really cheap deal. The problem is they overpaid some of these players. They overpaid some of these players. Like $5 million for 33+ million. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. 2.5 for 23 points. A bit much. It's just weird because it's not even has to be like a massive overpay, but like if you just overpay a guy a million, like 1 million to even 1.5, it can negatively impact your team because if you keep making those type of mistakes, it takes away a good player or two away from your lineup that you could potentially add. And Sorokin, when you're paying him $8.25 million until 2032, you're hoping he friggin' bounces back. You're hoping he bounces back in the worst way. Because if not, that contract could look like Rick DiPietro. Even though I'm not saying he's Rick DiPietro. Calm down. Calm down. I'm saying the contract could be pretty bad. Not DiPietro bad, but pretty bad. They need to go for number 1 pick and finish in last place. Damn, DC just wants to sell the Islanders. He's like, screw this team. Nothing's happened. I want us to lose every game. I want to sell them. I want to petard. I can understand that frustration, but your team is like good enough not to suck and not good enough to really be a contender right now. But with that decor, I mean, you got some promising things for the future. They're just gonna have some interesting decisions going forward having to make. I mean, Brock Nelson will be his contract expiring. Palmieri's contract expiring. I'm assuming they're gonna at least one of those guys walk, so they can kind of retain their decor. But it will be very interesting to see what they do going forward here, for sure. For sure. Let's kind of go back into free agency. Lyubushkin. All right. So Ilya Lyubushkin is signing a 3-year, $10 million deal with the Stars. Okay. All right. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. Not It's kind of No, not a terrible situation here. All right, let's. I'm actually kind of interested here. Let me go to Dallas. Dallas Stars, 5 point. God, so many friggin' ads. You're so quick with it. So, Star, I mean, that's a solid guy you can add. Matt Dumba. I'm not a big Matt Dumba fan. I'm not even trying to be a hit. I'm just not a big Matt Dumba fan. Now, Thomas Harley, you got to pay him. Harley looked so good last year. So damn good. But if you have Lindell, Haskin, Harley, you should still be pretty steady back there. Should be pretty steady back there. Maybe you want to, I mean, bottom pairing. I mean, I don't think Brendan Smith shouldn't be an everyday third pairing. I don't know. He played 63 last year. I don't know. I'm just not a big Brendan Smith guy either. I don't know. Stars fans, I'm not even trying to be a jerk. I'm just, I think DeSmith can be a solid backup. I think it's kind of Wedgwood and Smith are kind of similar. But, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, folks. Oh, I didn't want to go off the tracker. Damn, we're taking from Vancouver and they're taking back. LaPlante says, God, imagine if the Bruins drafted Barzal and he got to grow up under Bergeron. Oof. God, I know. That was a big miss. That was a big freaking miss. Big miss. I agree. That's a... Matthew Barzal with Bergeron. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Chicken Tenny, damn, we're taking from Vancouver and they're taking right back. Yeah, I mean, it's been an exchange, right? It's been an exchange between the Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. Definitely not been a... definitely been... I wonder if it's like an under two... Like, listen, you're going to Vancouver, you go to Boston, right? We'll swap teams. Make it somewhat uniform. Kind of funny. But, yeah, that is kind of fun. It's just kind of amusing in that way. I know the hockey guy, Shannon, is excited because, like, hey, these players he might have liked, they're sticking with teams I still follow. And happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day, folks. I'm American, so excuse the ignorance. Happy Canada Day, fan. Happy Canada Day, fellow Canadians, even though I'm not Canadian. I'm an honorary Canadian in my head, all right? So I think for now I'm going to kind of call it. If there's any more signings or anything of that nature, I'll definitely make more videos on it. I did the Jake DeBrusk one before this, and Bobby Bonite. I'll say this. I'll kind of end this more on a Bruins note for me. Lindholm, I think, is a good center addition. Contract hit, I'm not too sure of. Zadorov, I think, can add some physicality and some size. Again, I don't know. We'll see how things go there. As for the departures, Jake DeBrusk, not surprised. I'm not too surprised. And I think Vancouver's paying for his potential, which he could hit. He could easily hit that. And Dan Heinen, I think, is going to be a big loss, though. Underrated loss there. But understanding the cap, I understand why they didn't bring him back. Because the rest of this cap space is most likely going to be going to pay Jeremy Swayman. But I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments section or the live chat, right? Because this isn't a video. Well, technically a video, right? Because it's whatever. Anyways, I'd like to know your thoughts. What move impressed you the most? What free agent signing do you think is going to be the best fit? Who do you think made the worst signings on the day of free agency, the beginning day? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. I am Captain Paul, and I'll see you in the next one. The stream will stop. Yes, I know it will stop, OBS. You don't have to tell me.